A lot of us take for granted how precious life can be. Please take a few minutes to watch this and be truly grateful for what you have, because it all can change in an instant. So instead of telling you what an amazing person Dayana is, I thought the best way to describe that would be to share a few stories about her. The first story I want to share doesn't actually directly deal with Dayana. Rather, it's about her roommate from her first year of law school, a girl that we're going to call Sally. When Dayana was assigned to live with Sally, Dayana was just beginning law school for her first year. Sally, however, was actually beginning her second year. Sally was a little socially awkward and wasn't one of the cool girls. Unfortunately for Sally, her roommate that first year was one of the cool girls. So, in typical mean girl spirit, Sally's roommate constantly made fun of Sally because she was an easy target, and she further isolated Sally when all Sally really wanted was just a friend and a little bit of respect. Solely because of Sally's roommate her first year, poor Sally's law school reputation was tarnished, and Sally was basically ostracized from the entire law school class. Sally became known as the weird girl who doesn't have any friends. And that would have been her label for the rest of law school until she was saved by Dayana. And when Sally first met Dayana, Dayana told Sally, "I don't care what your last roommate said about you. She's an idiot. You're with me now, Sally, and I'll be damned if anybody ever speaks badly about you again." And my God, wow, what a transformation in Sally. It was almost like one of those videos that you see where the dog is abused and abandoned, and then somebody finds it and rescues it and gives it a bath and a haircut, and just shows it some love. And within a short period of time, the dog does a 180 and turns into a completely new dog. That is what happened with Sally. Dayana could have easily followed suit and just acted the same as Sally's last roommate when Dayana found out that she was assigned to live with the weird girl. But instead, Dayana gave Sally the only things that she was asking for: respect and friendship. And simply by doing that, Dayana transformed Sally's life. And I really mean that. There's no question in my mind that after Sally's first year, she absolutely hated law school. And most likely, she probably would not have even finished because she was just absolutely miserable. But because of Dayana, Sally had a great ending to her law school career, and I'm sure she's a happy lawyer out there in the world somewhere. Dayana still keeps in touch with her. That is the type of person that Dayana is. So I first met Dayana in 2009 when Dayana was just starting law school and I was beginning my second year. And as fate would have it, we were actually neighbors. She lived right down the hall from me in our law dorm. The first time Dayana and I hung out, I was absolutely captivated by her story of how she and her family arrived in America. Dayana was born in Cuba under communist rule, but when she was 8, her and her family decided they would try to escape to America on a boat in search for a better life. However, her boat never made it to America, as they were captured by the Coast Guard mid-voyage. As was the policy at the time, Dayana and her family were taken into federal custody and sent to the equivalent of a federal immigration prison. The federal prison that they were sent to was in Texas, and it was also the same prison that would house a lot of the inmates that were waiting to be deported that were legitimate criminals. So, here you have little 8-year-old Dayana simply hoping for a shot at a better life, stuck in the same cage with all the murderers and criminals waiting to be deported. And she's telling me all this, and I'm not from Miami originally, so I didn't really know too many people that were actually from Cuba, and she's just telling me how horrid life really is over in Cuba and why they escaped. And she's telling me all this and the ordeal that she went through. And I'm sitting here like realizing how lucky I am to have been born in America, and just how often that I've taken it for granted, simply luck of the draw where I was born. Fortunately, Dayana and her family were able to reunite and eventually were released from prison and finally given an opportunity to begin a new life in America. A country where Dayana was free to become whatever she wanted to be in life. And with that opportunity and with that freedom, Dayana chose to become a lawyer. Specifically, Dayana chose to become a public defender because she wanted to help the less fortunate and people that were desperate for help. because that is the type of person that Dayana is. So while I was fortunate to be Dayana's neighbor in law school and form a very strong friendship, I was even more fortunate when I found out that we were both going to be working as public defenders here in Miami. And it was at this point that our friendship really blossomed. I don't have many close friends in my life, and I feel truly grateful that Dayana is one of my closest friends. Literally every single one of Dayana's friends would all agree that Dayana is one of the best friends you could ever hope to have. If you ever have an emergency, or you're just in a really bad place in life, as Dayana's friend, you know you can count on Dayana. No matter what it is, Dayana will always be there for her friends, without exception, because that's the kind of friend Dayana is. On a personal note, a few years ago, I was going through some pretty bad stuff and I was in a really dark place in life. Many of my friends pretended like they cared, and they would ask me what was wrong, and then when I started talking, they would immediately get that glazed over look in their eye and like, whoa, this sounds heavy. I hope you get some help. I gotta go, have a good weekend. And that would be the extent of it. Compare that to Dayana. She had no background to relate to what I was going through at the time. However, she took time out of her day and sat down with me and took as long as necessary to fully hear me out and do her best to help. And looking back on it all, she was one of the only people that was actually there for me when I needed it most. In addition to being one of the best friends that you could ever hope to have, she's also one of the most caring and compassionate people that I've ever met. Dayana decided to stop eating animals because she cared more about ending animal suffering than she did for satisfying her own taste preferences. Everybody that knows Dayana knows how much she loves pigs, so that's why I have the piggy pictures up everywhere. And you know, we used to talk a lot about how one day when we were big time lawyers, how we would, you know, maybe make like an animal rescue sanctuary for abandoned and abused animals, pigs in particular. In addition to being an overall amazing person and an incredibly compassionate person, Dayana is also one of the toughest and strongest people I've ever met. Every moment of adversity in Dayana's life, be it from when she was 8 in a federal prison or all the stuff she's overcome as an adult, Dayana has been a model for toughness and perseverance. It really sets a standard for all of us to strive to. And ironically, this toughness and perseverance that Dayana is so admired for is what's going to now save her life. So this is Dayana and I a few months ago on my birthday, where we made a bet that I had to learn Spanish by the end of 2018, and if I didn't, I had to pay for her salsa lessons for all of next year. We're salsa partners, by the way, so that's why that's relevant. So just a few weeks ago, everything was completely normal in Dayana's life. As a vegetarian, she ate very healthy and she was an avid runner and exercised often. However, Dayana kept getting really bad migraines over the last few weeks. So on a random Tuesday night, her boyfriend, Mason, forced Dayana to go to urgent care. While obviously they were hoping that it would be nothing serious, neither of them realized that their lives would be forever changed after that night. It was discovered that Dayana had a brain tumor which required immediate emergency surgery to remove. The surgery was successful. However, when they did a biopsy on the tumor, news came back that none of us were expecting. The tumor removed from Dayana's brain was malignant, meaning that Dayana has brain cancer. You know, we were obviously hoping that the tumor was not going to be malignant, and when I found out from Mason that it was malignant, I remember I was standing in my kitchen and I started just crying like a little baby. Because for one, I'm worried about my friend, but also I was just really devastated by the profound unfairness of the whole thing. Out of everyone I know, Dayana is by far one of the best people that I've ever met in my entire life, and the last person to deserve anything like this. You know, I just thought, like, out of all the bad, out of all the bad people in the world, why does it have to happen to somebody that's such a good person and such a compassionate person and someone who's just made it their life of helping the less fortunate? Why her? Dayana truly is an inspiration to everyone that knows her for everything that she's endured and everything that she's going to continue to endure as she perseveres. It's almost like all the adversity Dayana has faced throughout her life has been preparing her for this moment to stand up and beat this thing. And she's been such a good friend over the years and has been there for me so many times when I needed her most that I really wish that there was something I could do to just make this whole thing go away for her so she could be back home with Mason and just happy that she can finally move on with her life. But that's not in my control. So I figured the least I could do would be to start this campaign on GoFundMe to help offset some of the crazy medical expenses that she's going to have at the end of this thing. You know, this may be a bit of a lengthy ordeal, and who knows when she's going to be able to go back to work, plus the fact that she was a public defender to begin with, so she didn't really have that much money to start off, so she really doesn't have the money to pay for all the expenses that are going to come along with this journey. And what none of us want is for her to beat her cancer only to then be welcomed by a mountain of medical debt. So if you're watching this, I'm asking for 3 things. Number 1, please share this to everyone in every way possible. 2, please donate to her GoFundMe campaign, whatever you can afford, even if it's small. A lot of people making small donations still makes a difference. 3, please pray for Dayana and send positive energy towards her. Now, as I say that, it should be noted that I am not a religious person. I do not pray myself. I more so believe in energy. That said, the reason I'm saying pray for her or send her positive energy is it's been proven with hard evidence, study after study, that both praying for people and also sending them positive energy mentally literally helps them heal. Even though I don't pray, when I wake up every morning, the first thing I do is meditate for about half an hour. And during my meditations, one of the things I envision is myself with Dayana after she gets out of the hospital and is fully recovered and the cancer's in remission, and we're laughing and just so grateful that it's finally over and she's fully healthy, and everybody's just so relieved and happy. We just feel just so good. That's what I try to envision every morning to manifest. So what I'm hoping is if enough people see this and everybody just takes a little bit of time out of their day, it's free, and just spends literally just 1 minute saying a prayer for Dayana or sending positive thoughts towards her, envisioning her healthy, cancer-free, cancer remission, if everyone who sees this could just do that, we would all be eternally grateful to you, even though we may not know you. With the prayer though, Dayana's going to need as much help as she can possibly get from as many different places. So, you know, if enough people see this video, hopefully, and enough people start praying, I'm really hoping that will help her heal quicker. Because if there was anyone who ever deserved all of the amazing things that life has to offer, it's Dayana. Dayana, we love you, and we all know that you're going to beat this thing. I'd like to thank you for always being there for me when I needed you, and for always standing up for me when I wasn't there to defend myself. I know you're gonna beat this thing, Dayana, and I cannot wait to tell the world how one of my best friends is also my hero, and you literally inspire me daily to one day that I may be lucky enough to have half of the strength and perseverance that you have. You really are one of my heroes. I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Please be grateful for all that you still have. Please share this and help in whatever way you can. And please pray for Dayana. I love you, Dayana. I can't wait until you're better, Dayana, and that we can finally go salsa dancing again.